So I'm starting out with her horns. To achieve this look, I used some Gorilla Tape, some aluminum foil, some heavy duty wire, and then this little cardboard piece that was in a vacuum cleaner when my parents first got it, but you could probably actually use a toilet paper roll cut in half. This is just to give it a good solid base for when we use the aluminum foil. Alright, so I'm taking a small section of aluminum foil and just wrapping it around that base part that I created, and then I'm going to use a little bit of tape and just secure it at the bottom so it doesn't budge. So I keep up with this procedure until I get the thickness and the height that I want. I also lay this piece on top of the original horn that I first made, just to make sure that they're roughly about the same size and same length. Once I was happy with the overall shape, it was time to begin using tape to cover the aluminum. So I'm just going in small sections and working my way up. I figured I wouldn't bore you guys by doing the whole entire thing because you can figure out how to wrap tape around aluminum foil pretty easy. And I'm just using smaller pieces as I get up to the top, and I'm just kind of showing that you don't need to worry about going in a perfectly even line. You can go back and add more tape where you need it. I used the wire to attach these to a headband, and that was that. So I used my lightest foundation already, and I made a little widow's peak out of some ribbon and some spirit gum, and then I'm just attaching this ribbon to a wig cap and just kind of wrapping around until I'm pretty satisfied with the way that everything is falling into place. It's probably a good idea to have somebody help you out with this part too, because I will say that I didn't do very good and I missed like a whole chunk of the back. So if you have a friend or a parent to help you out, that would make your life a whole lot easier. For my brows, I'm just filling them in with some Dipbrow in soft brown, my favorite, and I'm pretty much just creating a pretty sharp arch because hers comes to a very solid point at the top, and just going through and making sure both of them are even, and then using a cool brown tone eyeshadow, I'm just dusting this over top of my lids and into the crease, and then I'm also dragging that underneath to create a shadow underneath. And then I'm just kind of blending out a little bit more, darkening up the crease area. For liner, I wanted to do something nice and soft, so I'm using an angle brush and some black eyeshadow and just creating a very subtle cat eye. Here I'm just kind of smoking out that liner and blending it into the eyeshadow. I used some Wispie natural lashes since hers are not very intense, but I wanted something to make my eyes pop. I'm adding a little pop of yellow with some grease paint to the middle of my brow bone. I didn't drag it all the way across my brow bone, but just to kind of highlight in the very center above the eyeshadow that we did earlier. Going back to my cool brown shadow, I am using that to blend the yellow in with the rest of the eye look. I added Angelina Jolie's beauty mark above her eye, and now we're going into contouring. This is a really heavily contoured look, and I would advise staying with cooler tones when you're contouring for this. I started out with warmer tones, and I go back later and do more of a gray tone. But you're pretty much just going to want to keep contouring as much as you can and just blending down just a little. It's going to look like a stripe. It's going to look severe. It's going to look like you're doing drag makeup a little bit, which you kind of are, but it's also going to make your cheekbones pop. I also do this on my temples. I'm creating a V on the side of my head. So I am just taking that down into the cheekbone area that we were working on earlier and just kind of marrying the two together. By doing this, you are going to create a very sharp, popped out cheekbone. Here I'm adding that gray tone I was talking about earlier to my contour. This is just going to help give more realistic shadows to the face, and it's also just going to further enhance the contouring that we did earlier. Using a bright highlight powder, I'm further enhancing my cheeks and making them stand out even more. Then I'm going to use a brush and just kind of help to dust and blend everything together. I'm using a very bright red lip, just like Angelina Jolie did in Maleficent, and this really just helps to finish off the look. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you've been enjoying my Halloween videos so far, and be sure to subscribe. Bye guys.
I know you, I walked with you once upon a dream.